Alright, part 3 of the introductory course, or, well, trial, case, whatever. 22nd November, 1:14 p.m., Supreme Court, Nature, Courtroom 2. Oh, they missed the noon deadline. This, TLDR, we're getting saved. Well, I understand you're the judicial assistant to the defense. Why the sudden ingress into my court? Ha! A judicial assistant, and a woman, no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Yes, I fully understand. I only asked for 5 minutes of time. That's some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl. The trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes. I will not allow for a moment more. But, Your Excellency, I am most grateful. Excellency, are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something in English. It's Giselle Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curare? What's that? Never heard of that. Heard that word before. Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. Hang on, let me add this to my record real quick. There's too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful. Thank you. Giselle's report has been entered into the court record. Goodbye, then, and good luck. Well, hold on. You're gonna stay on my screen a little bit longer while I, read this. A poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region use such a trend to incapacitate their prey. This is paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. This above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body, such as a wound. Through a wound such as that inflicted by a blow dart. Due to inability to render body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have an application as anesthesia. However, a full solution for the respiratory arrest cause as a result of paralysis was supposed to be found, or patients would die of suffocation. Alright, you can leave now. Thank you. Again. I've had long enough, counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Decide the side of any further evidence to present to this court? I presume not, but... The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Yonosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett? Yes, Your Excellency? If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. Forgive me, Mr. Red. Since I wasn't clear, I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask that you treat that as an order. I said many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? This one.
Yes!
Miss Giselle Pratt. I understand you're studying under Dr. Wilson at a university doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel? A toxin known as curare, your excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. What complete and utter nonsense? Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before, for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct, which means no matter what the tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify curare. Why? Because there's no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Order, order, order! Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspirations are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered with some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other divers would have surely noticed. That is true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being given any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, just for the record. I'm just trying to roll with it. I'm just trying to do what makes sense in my brain. Explain yourself, counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. With a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Wizard. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. After a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. All the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim is slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly karate poison. But you're suggesting that this bottle council actually contains this terrifying poison? This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there's no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. If I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever.
Shut up!
It is you who must be taught. Of course. Dear lady. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the Great Empire of Japan is breaking the rules. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see why not. Too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry? Turning this woman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. All the police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers! Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this little shabby affair. Goodness! Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned. So, no Karari. We don't have all the information on it, though, right? Because the poison would eventually weaken over time. It says even in minute doses. But it's been several days, right? So wouldn't it lose what are the chances it lost potency after that amount, after the time? The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Miss Brett? Hold on. There's nothing that says that. There's nothing outright saying that she still didn't poison specifically his drink. Just that, like, just that she didn't poison the bottle itself. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you've given us. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. Yeah, there's nothing to say outright saying that she couldn't have poisoned his glass. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, we have all the clues now. If that bottle of water contains no poison. As I thought, there's no poison in that bottle. What? Why? Ryunosuke? Isn't it obvious? If there was poison in there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. But sometimes it is in need of a good stain. Until it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Oh, is that what color this is supposed to represent? That was a guileless ending to a promising line of inquiry counsel for which you will be penalized. What? What? The whole trial is poison. That bottle of water does contain poison? I'm confused. The Lord did put Karari poison into Durbal's. Okay, that's bad translation. The defense refuses to change its position. Because they were talking about specifically the bottle, and now they're saying, oh, now it's just in his drink, in his glass. The glass that she probably took in with her. You're serious?
Objection!
No, that doesn't fucking count against me. As far as I care, that's still flawless. Fool, are you blind? There's no way that bottle could possibly contain poison. I mean, we just saw the spirit drinking the water from it. That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? Here's the thing, through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer's in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well, if the defense truly intends to assert this claim, must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume the supposedly poisoned water unscathed? First we found I'm actually not sure what to present here. It was in French. I'm gonna try the handbag.
Yes!
Since the defense, or shall I say, the wretched accused. Okay, no. Making this more complicated than it needs to be. That one I'll take. As like a. I guess it's just the report itself then.
Yes!
So this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation. No? After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. This reads Usado-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in entirety by the report. It's like not even a paragraph. It's like what? It's like 6 lines of text. What do you mean? The fucking research papers I had to read in college were longer than this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences. So it'd be under practical applications, right? Wait. No, it would be the root of injury under special characteristics, because it wasn't because she drank it rather than having it injected directly into her bloodstream. Direct us to the pertinent section. Special characteristics. I've been hearing a lot about this curare poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Council. No, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see. That makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Karari enters the body through an open wound, it has a terrifying poisonous effect. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. Unless, you have a cut in your mouth, I guess. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Karari's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without making it any danger to yourself. You meddling little rapscallion! Why is the goose a hydra? What unreal escape. It turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
Oh, this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how it possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with, some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy, it only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Is it schoolboyish? Flaw? Even as your brain has even your brain has managed to deduce, Karari is safe to ingest. It seems like that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Ah, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they? Digestive tract, dude. So this is the poison is completely harmless when drunk. The professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Ah! That's right. Good gracious. That's basic science. Science even a schoolboy should be able to understand. Order. Order in the court. Order. Yeah, but if you dipped the poison on a bullet and shot the professor, or like, the actual bullet part of the bullet, not the casing, well, that's also assuming that this is before this isn't black powder times, essentially. The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest... Yes, this Karari poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Sure, even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. What is this wound up inside me? I never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison, and you were alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. So we now know that the poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson have been killed by the Harari? Because he was shot by a...
Take that!
I'm sorry, counsel, but this slipshod manner in which you toss that evidence before the court does not inspire confidence. Huh? Listen, Ryosuke, there's no need to overthink this. You know that Harari's toxic effects only come into play via a wound. At that moment, when Dr. Wilson drank his glass of water, he must have had a wound somewhere that let the poison in, exactly. So evidence proved the professor had a wound inside his mouth. Oh, the tooth okay. Okay, that's fair. I feel like taking a penalty there would have been fair, but at the same time, I get that they're like, yeah, you're on. I get why they don't penalize you, because it's like you're on the right track of.
Take that!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. But there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of Harari are only felt when the poison enters in the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless, except for the fact that your mouth is covered in tiny cuts anyway. That's why it burns whenever you use mouthwash. Well, alcohol. Well, like mouthwash with alcohol in it. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes. Like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Oh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Arr! So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are so puerile. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! Okay, you did that in front of like 7 fucking witnesses. It's the Englishwoman. She just smashed that bottle into the Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible at once. You're wasting your time. The delightful carpet under my feet was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully. Neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, you referred to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. That's right. And looking at this photograph, it's clear as day, isn't it? The professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the schoolboy. No, you killed the victim that day using karate. And then in order to frame Ryonosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. And you have nothing to support your wild claims, and as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest, delivered in cold blood by the accused Ryonosuke Naruhodo. Ugh. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now... Is she really going to get away with this? When she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryonosuke, yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? You've lost a vital piece of evidence, that's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were one thing you could really depend on. Oh yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice anything with this woman. But I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again. Now, try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Is Kazuma right? I swear on the vibrant memory of this scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Can we actually see that in the... Oh, hold on. I gotta look at this now. Because I don't think... Yeah, that doesn't exist in the actual picture. But we're gonna say that there's a clue because we can see this. Actually, Kazuma, I think I'm gonna have something. I think if I cover everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. Haha, you always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryonosuke? Come on then, let's let that smug smile of the English woman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been... I don't want to say this word because bothering me for a while. But something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all of this. Because that is very close to a bad word. And could easily be misread as a bad word. It's just the clue that shows who the real killer is. I mean, it's just this, right?
Take that!
Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes, what is... Hosanada. He's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, perhaps you took anything else away from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day. Wait a minute. What are you going to do with it? Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. I saw the wooden base that the plate was... And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood. What? Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything here. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot him from in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Yes. For blood to have made it on the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were, Giselle Brett. I beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous, fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expecting to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing? This could be the moment my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered, the steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there any blood on it? Of course there isn't. Quickly, Inspector, the blood, man. Show the court. Of course, examine the plate at your leisure. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. This is taking so much longer than I thought it would. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Arg. I couldn't agree more in the case of this disgrace to the Empire. I believe we may have finally reached a conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempted at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to forget all about it. To do my best to forget all about it when it's over. This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. But the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again. Be my guest. The plate of steak has been entered into the courtroom record. So I just saw, or thought I saw just a figment of my imagination? Emblem on the side of the plate. It's a cat, it's a cow, obviously. Beef steak, this signature dish. Lots of, a lot of restaurants are new tableware, so this is the symbol of carnivality. Oh! I tried right-clicking. Can we fucking move the plate off of the wooden portion? Huh? Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hui era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it, I mean what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hui Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it appears to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time there's been talk about Hui Koban. I've heard of pearls before, swine, but I've never heard of bullion in bullion. I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... Certainly there is versus climbing this Hawaii Air 2, it may be quite valuable. 12 marinated juices as well. Take a look. What do you think? Eating it? No. And it's time I'll order steak in a specific restaurant. One thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. You hear them all get into the stick about this. So, one logical explanation. This is the wrong plate. This guy is still fucking giving us wrong evidence. This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence myself. We've already done that. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of this evidence is strongly unnecessary. Does the defense have an objection? Oh, that blood stain is going to cleanse the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
Objection!
Fuck cannot categorize evidence correctly, apparently. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak. Excellency, I believe I've made myself... I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As you a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's only your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court what you are alluding. Where is it found? It's... Well, I don't actually know how to do this. It's under the meat. Okay. Oh, what in the world is... I think it's a common coin. Yeah, we've been through this. Can I please... Why? Why is this showing up a second time? Okay, and then I present the coin. Good gracious, that's... Koban? What on earth? Oh yeah, I wanted that. Miss Brett. This is in fact the beefsteak you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me. Why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in the moment of distraction. A fucking, like, 1,000-year-old coin?
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Holy Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right, it can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel? A rare Holy Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give it my lawyer job right now.
Objection!
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Shut up!
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. You know, I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. Well, this band that was found underneath the beefsteak is Curio Correcuta.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasute, Curio Correcuta-san. Curie? As in Mr. Cucumber or something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with this koba and coin when it happened, exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Holy Koban, my prized coin. This is Holy Koban. Do you mean to tell me?
Objection!
No. Please, why would Korakuta's-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and his plate? It makes no sense. Which is why I'm asking to bring Korakuta's-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. I can't believe you come back around to that here again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch. If we chase down the real significance of this code, we'll find that it's a key element to the case. Oh, we're just going right into it. Okay. I was getting really concerned that there was going to be a part 4 to this. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize it's dinner time for little baby Agdo? My son's belly is empty, he's fierce with a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police, we were like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, worthless with an antique. The nothing more I have to say. The sun is set on the Sarasute shop's owner's existence. Be that as it may, Korakuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen this coin? Ah, that's... Yes, that's it. The one, the very one. It's that one that is... The resplendent, or so I treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be. Oh, young man. This decrepit old fool, put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices. Sandwich? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my holy treasure between a slab of meat and metal plate? Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable act? Excuse me, could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosanaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah yes, that's right, the secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been around similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, isn't it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. This is already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Korakuta-san's Koban is all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who stole the coin and hid it under the steak? Was it him?
Take that!
Obviously. It can only be you. Sergeant Ayesanosa? What? How? How dare you? You monster! Monster. I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me, it was Ido. Ido was the mastermind behind all of this. You push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? See who is the monster, Sergeant Nosa? I'm confused. How do we have any kind of idea about this other than he just happened to be meeting the guy? Upon Imperial Army Sergeant Ayesanosa preparing to stand down in Supreme Court, sir. Don't you know? extraordinarily low wages that the Nippon Imperial Army pays and lose it expects to keep our country safe. I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. I've heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoy chopping my way through a good steak at the same time. Sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man at his koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the stick. I was halfway through Devour when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. If the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I do too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could on the double. I slipped it under the stake. I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. Couldn't have just like dropped it on the floor or something. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett? Of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. Your esteemed gentlewoman, please be excused, Your Excellency. Look, if I can't leave, neither can she. Indeed, the death of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? But that still doesn't erase the fact that he provided us with the wrong steak plate. Well. Thanks for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a fork and a knife. It's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Very well, now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day. Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. Can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred me. Feels like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later. If you don't call it out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid just one last time. Something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. I did not even pay attention. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat, the sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Yeah, why would you need to hide it under a lump of meat? What are you talking about?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Suke? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your stick and biting into it without using a fork and knife, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Wait. Yeah, he didn't use a fork and knife. Look at the bite pattern. Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need see some evidence, Counsel. If the words are contradictory, where's the evidence to prove it?
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency. The steak was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Does the thing about this steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you notice it too, Miss Brett. Notice what exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed that no Englishman could ever contemplate the idea of picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Also, have you ever had steak? It's super thick. You will absolutely tear your you'll probably rip a tooth out before you manage to do that. Now take a good look at the steak, in particular this edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks here. Oh! It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, has the witness cleared you? I contemplate eating anything without using a fork and knife. There shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett is so ravenously hungry. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course. It will be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Say everything to... I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Of course. Dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. Does she realize the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak have for her? Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yeah, this isn't the steak she was eating. Yes, now at last it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks are said that allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the blood stain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. What exactly is that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, but it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been what? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
Objection!
This is absurd. The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it. I don't, but there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. If that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well, I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses this evidence? This asshole. Stop giving us the wrong evidence! The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this steak with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chopping my way through a good steak, as well as admitting to stealing Korakuten-san's coin. He told us he'd slipped it under the steak. You watch it, Cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was that steak you put under the coin, in fact, your own steak? Or you put the coin under? Attention! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign general if she might manhandling her meal to hide something under something with it. In other words, that's the detective submitted his evidence earlier. Was in fact Sergeant Nosa's.
Objection!
But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table. Yeah, the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well, then how do you explain this paradox? Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over. You did switch the plates? Well, after it happened, I saw the civilian get murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stick and hid the coin underneath it. Then, later announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd have it. He decided to investigate my side, and that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. Military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It's called Operation Lightning Bolt. There's no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable! However, fear not, prosecutor son. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform, that is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant! Yes. So, Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over. It means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Earlier in this trial, you told us in the court this. You said you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ah. That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment of he was shot. Oh my gosh, we spent so long establishing that it was the wrong plate. And I called, I'm sorry, I said that was the wrong plate like 30 fucking minutes ago when the bloodstain wasn't there. What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold sour tough meat? It can't have the slightest bearing on the case. No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. You remember the reason why the state plan promises to prove such a problem for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. He thinks he remembers. I'm quite certain of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, show us the fucking plate! Present the beefsteak plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident, and I swear to God, if it's the wrong one again, I'm gonna Alt F4. Yes, sir! Sorry for keeping you. Yeah, I'm docking your pay 70%. Here's the other steak in its plate, and look at all that blood. Please, feel free to examine it. The blood stain. It's clearly visible.
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, is it possible for Naruhoda Wilson to have shot the victim? Arrgh! It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you! Outdone by a Japanese? Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No, no, no! You've been outdone twice. You destroyed conclusive evidence in the middle of courtroom proceedings. As if anyone would let that slide and not just straight up convict you on the spot. Why is that one a raven chick? Or maybe a crow chick. Melanistic, I guess I should say. Swans are... I guess there can be melanistic swans. But typically when you think of swans in media, you think of, you know, what she's got on her hat here. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. forgive me. Well, Miss Britt. And typically swan tits are like the yellow ones. I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using Kurari. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So he planned to go to the professor knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because Kurari is unheard of here in Japan. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. Only he needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling manner, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point. The audio cutout made me think I'd lost power for a second. So I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. I planned to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. Honestly, had she not, shot a gun, she probably still could have gotten away without anyone noticing. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. And so I'd use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Kurari in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right, there were 2 guns. Yes. Then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Place where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I intended. But then, just as you bent down to pick it up, that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. And at that point, he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around. Because, of course, he needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Misdemeanor? Your Excellency. Yes. I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. It would seem this trial's finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. Taketsuchi out. She does not lose. Not to mention this rookie student. They're getting used to tough opposition. Okay, Naruhodo. What, yes? This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten. You become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Thousand millennia may pass, and still, the Aochi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But in the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I'm sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. And a new future of law awaits, but what it will look like I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asobi, yes? After this trial, you're set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Never mind. As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how you carried that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. This court is now adjourned. And now for the post-trial dialogue. 22nd November, 2:46 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants, Antechamber 5. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Oh, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, cousin. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So you made that Lord Sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Oh, it's her. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. We worked hard for that result too. Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much! If we hadn't had that research of Miss Pretz, I don't know how things would have turned out. We would have been found guilty as soon as she drank the water. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Sato Mikotoba, judicial assistant for the defense. Speaking of Mikotoba, there you are. I do believe congratulations are in order. Naruto, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. No, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal to the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yuma University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I never heard you mention that. I never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, SOE. Great Britain is a magnificent country. Leads the world in science and medicine, engineering, culture, and of course in law. Watch and learn, my boys. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. The Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to kill. It cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what happened to the woman? To Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder. Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but what do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future for Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hasanaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. Yeah, not made any easier by the fact that you gave us the wrong goddamn plate and you fucking knew it. What's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who's going to bring her to justice? British consular court will hear a case somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. Why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past that we've signed the friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then so long as it is not this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't afford to consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our government's making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. I mean, she's clearly the child of someone super high up in government or something. Seems Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that from the young student, today's trial is nothing more than a game all along. There's never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over her custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil, this new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Is that the plot of this entire game? Trying to get this one lady the death penalty, basically? Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. The professor... You're right, this is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Rayuno's case, not guilty of it. I swear I will support. Can we please wrap this up? In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're Detective Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about details for now. To La Carnival, will you accompany us, Professor? Of course, La Carnival's food is second to none. I shall then attend the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh, yes, thank you. So Giselle, rather, Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma. Yes, Ryonosuke. Just wanted to say thanks again, that's all. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? The defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. Thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. You have a natural talent for being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat? I never want to go through that ever again. I just did what you told me to do, that's all, because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean? That's the point. Listen, Ryonosuke. Do you know what the most crucial level that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? The defense lawyer has to fight risk claims. He has to believe in them at all times. Like, you believed in me when I said I didn't. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending something. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe in, well, it's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just like today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. You face seemingly hopeless situations time and time again. But you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it. Through your own efforts. And because you never stopped believing in me. That's Kazuma. It's almost like we forgot we were the ones on trial. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryonosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. Sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. Arrange some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. guess we got this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And your study toward a great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too. My very first trial came to an end. Kazuma, Professor Mikotova, Susatsu-san, that is my assistant, Inspector Hosanaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still, who dragged the trial on unnecessarily. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. Aside from Hosanaga for intentionally giving us the wrong goddamn plate. Yes, I'm still salty about that shit. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. And, okay, that's the end of this episode. Also, end of stream. I'm gonna save off screen. Well, I'll go ahead and save now. It's fucking 5:30 a.m. I gotta go. Bye.